Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who share their insights and expertise so we can all grow together. And I'm really excited for my special guest today. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk. If you're new to this podcast, welcome, and make sure you stick around because we've got a free special gift for you at the end. But without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Greg Reiter with Launchcart. Welcome, Greg, to the podcast.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it very much. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to chat with you and dive in. We use your product, so this is exciting to be able to talk to the man who created it. So can you share with us a little bit about yourself, your company, Launchcart, and your role within it?
Well, CEO, founder, chief visionary officer. I clean the floors, I take out the trash. You know how that is in an early stage. You do everything, right? So, just excited. I got involved in e-commerce, believe it or not, in 1997. I bought the
Mm.
very first e-commerce mall on the internet called FirstNet Mall. And I remember back then in 1997 going, oh man, e-commerce is going to be big. Oh my gosh, it's going to be huge. We got to sell stuff online, way ahead of its time.
Mm.
And that mall that I bought actually was indexed in the search engine alphabetically. So WNST Net Mall. And because of that, it got all the traffic. But then after they started doing it by relevancy, it didn't get any traffic and we went out of business. So
Mm.
I've been doing it for a long time, but now I'm on a quest to create a better, superior e-commerce platform, America's favorite platform, really, really going up against Shopify, who's Canadian,
Mm.
and providing the tools and technology that real internet marketers need, funnels, upsells, downsells, order bumps, things of that nature, and just making it real simple, speed to market, and facilitating, people selling online.
Yeah, so you mentioned, Shopify, and Launchcart is positioned as a game changer in the e-commerce space. So what makes Launchcart different from other platforms like Shopify?
Well, Shopify is obviously a great platform. They're, last I looked, $150 billion company. And back when I was using it real heavily in the 2015, 16, 17, 18, we were doing millions of dollars a month. And they're built on this technology stack of an app store. So they
Mm.
built this basic framework, and then they have an app store. So, hey, I want to have coupons, got to get an app. Hey, I want to have Exit Pop. I want to get an app. I want to have, name acquisitions, and I want to have where people can rate you, reviews and stuff like that. You have to get an app. And so I remember when I launched my very first store, the bill was like 1,800 a month.
Wow.
And it was like, wow. And then at that time, and probably still today, oh, some apps don't play well. Some apps, can't, make your theme not work right. And we were always troubleshooting. And because I had a lot of software development experience in my background as an investor,
Mm.
we were always hacking into the code and doing interesting stuff. So we said, and then we got into the whole click funnels and funnel marketing and lead pages. And I don't know if you're old enough to remember this stuff, but
I remember.
um, this idea that landing page, customer journey, upsells, downsells, order bumps really was the magic bullet to increasing your average order value and the ability between not making money and making money. So we said, well, what if we were to build a platform that
Mm.
came with the must-haves and the should-haves? Okay, so must-have is something like you must have customer reviews. You literally cannot have a successful e-commerce store with longevity if you can't let your customers give you five-star reviews and four-star reviews. You
Yeah.
must have exit pops and pop-ups to do name acquisitions for people that aren't ready to buy yet. You must be able to have ad coupons, so you must have a promotional bar. So there's just these must-haves, right? It's like literally you gotta. So we said, okay, let's build a platform, clone Shopify, so to speak, and then build these must-haves into it. Then we
Mm.
said, okay, what about the should-haves? What are the should-haves? Let's build the should-haves into it. The should-haves are order bumps. You must have, or you should have order bumps. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your average order value, you should have an order bump on the checkout page. And you should be able to customize the checkout page. So we
Right.
created the only e-commerce platform that I know of that has a drag and drop WYSIWYG edit your checkout page editor. You can put on there your phone number, you can put on there trust seals and things like that. And these are things or should haves because they increase trust and they increase your average order value. Then
Hmm.
you go into the funnels and that kind of stuff. Go, you should have an upsell. And when I mean upsell, I mean a one-click upsell. Somebody pays and checks out. And then wait, before you go, would you
Right.
like this with that? And have the one-click upsells to go with it. And then the downsells. We built those in as must-haves. And then we said, well, you must have a page builder, right? Because if you can't build a long-form sales page, funnels don't really work, right? Because you can't build a funnel with the product. So
Right.
we need a page builder. So we added a page builder as it should have. And so that was the whole concept. It was like from a digital marketer's perspective, who's done tens of millions of dollars online, what should we have? What must we have? And that was part A. And part B is a little bit more of a story, but it's an amazing story. And if you want, I'll share that with you because where we're going and what we're building, what you haven't heard about, what most people haven't heard about and seen, is going to transform e-commerce globally.
Mm. Yeah, I would love to hear that story. Is the reason why, what was your inspiration for starting Launchcart? I'm curious. Was it because of your experience and the price point and the cost that it was to have a store to start your own e-commerce site? Was that part of your inspiration?
Actually, you want to know the honest truth is I'm 60. I just turned 63, and I'm a former investment banker, and I've
Mm.
raised money and coached entrepreneurs for decades, and I've invested in a few unicorns, meaning companies that went to $1 billion valuation, made 100 times or more on my money.
Wow.
And I thought this is my chance to create a unicorn. And what happened was, in like I think it was September of 2018, I typed in Shopify support, and their stock quote came up. And I'm like, what? They're publicly traded. I'm a former investment banker. How did I not know this? So I looked at their stock quote and my eyes got big. I couldn't believe it. And I actually took a screenshot somewhere. I got to dig it up one of these days. I took a screenshot in September 2018 that they were worth $10.8 billion. And I'm thinking to myself,
Wow.
scratching my head, going, this software? Because I really was never happy with it. But it was the best on the marketplace, right? The companies were 10.8 billion. And at the time, my parent company that we were working under was called Celebrity Lifestyle Brands. And we were working with celebrities, helping them monetize their fan base through e-commerce. So we
Mm.
had Sofia Vergara
Wow.
and Carlos Santana and Bethany Frankel. My partner had launched brands for Jennifer Lopez and Nicki Minaj and Adam Levine and worked with American Idol. And so we had access to the biggest celebrities in the world and the
Mm.
biggest influencers in the world. And I literally saw that stock quote and I said to myself, wow, we got to create a competitor Shopify. I called up my partner and I said, hey, I want to create a competitor Shopify. We have the crystal ball. We know what the market needs and wants and should have, right? And we have the celebrity pixie dust that we can put on it and help market it when we're ready to go. And I said, I want to put everything on hold and do this. And so we agreed that's what we do. And that was really the reason why that we wanted to do that. So
Amazing. Well, can you take us back to that story you were going to share?
Oh, okay. So we decided to do this. So luckily we found the name Launchcart,
Hmm.
launching a shopping cart, launch cart. So everyone likes the name. We thought it was a great name. We're really happy about the name. Um, and so we start building out Launchcart. And then somebody said to me, hey, Greg, you should get into drop shipping and figure out all the pain points of drop shipping. So as you're building Launchcart, you could solve those problems. And at that time, I knew a number of people that were doing 100 grand a month, 150 grand a month, 50 grand a month, just some even doing 200, 300 grand a month, just drop shipping stuff from China, products from China. Now, at that time, China was subsidizing the postage, and you could ship something from China to my house in San Diego cheaper than I could ship something from my house in San Diego to somebody in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So that's what made dropshipping go, and that's why Alibaba came and became one of the multi-billion-dollar companies. That's why dropshipping took off, is because and you could ship the stuff cheap, and it kind of worked. So I got into dropshipping, and because I have money, and because I had team, and because I'm good at what I do, we did 400,000 sales
Wow.
in 8 months.
Wow.
Now you think about that: 400,000 credit cards collected in 8 months. Now, I don't care what mall you're in. You're in the Mall of America or you're in the Dubai Mall. I don't care what mall. I don't care if you're in 100 malls.
Right.
Very few people are going to ever collect 400,000 credit cards in 8 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, right? So,
That is a lot
so
of people.
literally that concept that the world is your mall really even sunk in with me. I was like amazed. Okay, that's the good news. That was cool. We learned a lot. crappy business, by the way. It's like it's horrible working with the Chinese. And it just like one example would be we'd say send us this, we would send us some samples of products we thought we could sell, and we'd
Mhm.
get samples and we'd look at them, go, these are nice. And then we would test them, and if they sold well, we would scale them, and then we'd buy 10,000 of them, on whatever stuff. And it came all nice and fluffy, the samples. By the time we sold like 2 or 3 thousand of them, the pillows kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And it seems
Uh,
like the last like 5 or 6, like the last 2 or 3 thousand out of 10,000, they were sending empty pillowcases. Like people were sending us pictures going, I got an empty pillowcase. It's like,
oh,
what?
wow.
Incredible. So with that being said, but then what happened is um, for some reason, our suppliers over there, something changed, and they said, "Hey, those products that we told you we could get you, we can't get you. So we're sending you your money back." I'm like, "No, no, no. I sold those products. I
Mhm.
don't want the money back. I need the money." So they sent me back $2 million, and then I spent about 1.5 million running the ads, and it generated about 4 point something million of revenue. And I'm like, "No, no, I don't want the product back." They're like, "We can't get the product, sent the money back." Well, that hurt. That
Yeah.
hurt. So I'm like, okay. So we start giving refunds. We start getting chargebacks. People start complaining. We ended up having two groups, like an eight person team, two shifts, and we gave 50,000 refunds.
Wow.
50,000 refunds. And we're like, okay, we're honorable people. We'll give the refunds. We're getting kicked in the teeth. We're taking $1.5 million loss. It's been a nightmare. We'll get through this and go on. Well, that's what I thought, but that was not what happened, because about a month into this, month after about 50,000 refunds, I came into my office one day and every bank account, every merchant account, every PayPal account, every credit card I had was all canceled on the same day. We were
Wow.
100% debanked, and I was out of business. And I was, all the celebrity clients we were working with, I was taking all the money and paying them royalties. Gone, done, history. We were doing 1 million to 3 million a month every single month. Zero. So that's what we crawled back from. And that story, and they talk about the world's best products were created because of stories like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a man of faith, and I pray and on my knees, just going, I can't believe this. And I get woken up in the morning. I feel like the Lord's talking to me, and He tells me to create the source and sell marketplace and a split payment merchant system. And I start looking into it, and He gave me just downloaded at 5 in the morning this whole idea. And so we have been architecting for a couple of years now the source and sell marketplace and a split payment merchant system that's going to solve all problems with drop shipping and give real brands the ability to get in the drop shipping game and really empower solo entrepreneurs, small business owners, and entrepreneurs globally to add products to their store and not have to worry about bookkeeping, not have to worry about shipping, not have to worry about doing that kind of stuff, because my system's going to replace that.
Yeah. Wow. What an incredible story that you came back from. Many people wouldn't be able to recover from that. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I know the listeners are just as blown away as I am from hearing you share that. Um, So, Greg, there's a lot of, we hear about AI everywhere, right? It's only getting bigger, it's not going away, and it's only going to continue to evolve. So, how are you seeing AI transforming e-commerce, and how can businesses leverage AI-driven tools to optimize their sales and marketing?
I love AI, and it just if you're not using it every day, you need to be using it every day. And I'm going to give you an analogy that if I came to you and said, "Hey Heidi, I've got the world's smartest assistant, literally the world's smartest, like literally proven the world's smartest, smarter than any human
Hmm.
that I can get, you can hire. You can hire this assistant. Would you want to hire the world's smartest assistant? And it's only $20 a month. It's only, it's very minimal. It's maybe it's not going to cost you hardly anything.
Hmm.
And and it's like, well, of course I want that assistant for 20, the world's smartest. I can,
Yeah.
yeah. And so the idea that we can generate product descriptions, product titles, search engine optimization at our fingertips. We can figure out ideas and marketing plans and social media and all the things that go with the digital business, digital marketing. Our lives just became easier. And I want to give every business owner this concept. Look, you need to allocate, you need to have a company-wide directive And that directive should be that every single one of your employees spends at least an hour a day learning and becoming better at leveraging and using AI for their function, for their job, to create SOPs, to automate, to systemize, to make more efficient. And so don't think of it as a reason to fire people. Think of it as a reason to scale and be more efficient, right?
Mm.
And I've been using Grok a lot more. Grok, I think, is way better than ChatGPT now, and it has some research tools and some different things like that. And so the idea that you start leveraging it for your business plan, your marketing strategy, your social media marketing plans. Hey, I'm an e-commerce. I own a SaaS company and we focus really on print on demand. What should be some blog posts? Give me a month's worth of ideas for blog posts. Give me a month's worth of ideas for social media posts. Instantly you've got it, right? It's like literally at fingertips is what you have. Now, with that being said, we have a platform that we've recently rolled out about 8 months ago, a year ago, called launchads.ai. And I think it's one of the best uses of AI for e-commerce and digital marketers that there is. And the reason why is now we're taking this world's smartest assistant and we're saying, hey, write me some ads, write me ad copy, and write me 4 or 5 different sets of ad copy, and write me 4 or 5 descriptions, or I mean titles, so I can split test. And
Mhm.
then tell me what audience I should be advertising for. Like help me find the audience because I'm new at running ads. I go onto Facebook and I
Right.
get in this big giant thing and I'm lost on, well, who should I target? Tell me what age I should target. And then once I launch those ads, I want you to monitor my ads nonstop. And I want you to tell me which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones. And I don't even want you to tell me. I just want you to automatically split test and start killing the losers and reallocating my budget to the winners, right? And then after that, when we start getting ad fatigue, I want you to start writing new ads and create new ads and new copy and new headlines, new titles automatically when my ads start getting ad fatigue. And that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
It's for a guy who spent millions of dollars a month on ads. I'm like, that's the dream. And then wait, let's take it to another step. Let's take all that functionality and let's leverage it for all the platforms. So I want to advertise on Facebook or Meta, Instagram, yep. Okay, TikTok, yep. LinkedIn, yep. Google, yep. Uh, YouTube, yep. Spotify. I want to do Spotify ads, yep. And let's use that same technology so I can run campaigns. And I only want to log into one dashboard. I don't want to log in and out and in and out and in and out all these other platforms and try to monitor my stuff. Oh, and then let's put all my campaigns in a folder and tell AI, hey, monitor all of my campaigns on every platform I'm running ads on and reallocate budget based on the platform that's giving me the best ROI. All with an AI assistant. Oh,
Wow.
wait, and let's take that same technology and let's have it help me create my social media. It's helped me write my ads. It's helped me, create
Mhm.
this. Okay, let's do that. And then let's integrate with Shutterstock because the thing where everyone falls down is I need creative. I'm a realtor or I'm a chiropractor or I'm a dentist. I don't have time to make videos. I don't have videos. I have images. Well, guess what? Shutterstock has 30 million videos and images. So let's integrate with Shutterstock and have the images and videos pulled right from Shutterstock. It 40 times faster, 90% better results than just about every single person out there. So the combination of that tool and then these other kind of tools where you can just tell it a prompt, make me an image with your product, right? Your product placement. So you got your product, and normally we're taking photos, and maybe we're using some print on demand type computer generated stuff. But if I have a really nice skin cream, a women's skin cream, and I want it to be on a rock overlooking a pool with a waterfall in the behind and this lush green stuff, you can go to AI and tell it that, boom, here's your product placed in this beautiful setting as a product placement or for a social media image. So leveraging the tools to optimize everything about your e-commerce store is game changer.
Yeah, so you mentioned Grok, and I've just learned about that one recently, I think a week ago. I haven't checked it out yet, but I will. So your software is Launch Ads AI, is that what it's called? Did I
Launchads.ai.
got AI. Okay, so and people can just go use it, sign up for it and use it
Yep.
now.
Yep.
It's like work
Yep.
running.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah. So if you're listening, definitely go check that out like now. Right now. I'm going to be checking it out today for sure. Um, so how can let's talk about ads. How can entrepreneurs and businesses use AI as effectively to drive high quality traffic? You shared about your product, but can you go deeper into how they can effectively drive high quality traffic to make sure they're going towards the right audience? Because that's, that's who they want to make sure they're targeting the right people.
Well, again, using AI
Mm.
to ask who is my ideal avatar. I'll give you another example. So I wanted to launch a coffee brand.
Hmm.
And I love coffee, and I also have a rescue dog, and I've had rescue dogs for decades, right? So we were sitting around one day and we're like, we wanted to launch an on-demand coffee brand, use print on demand t-shirts, hats, and hoodies and stuff. And then so my wife, my clever wife, she says we should call it Rescue Joe. Because there's a term
Papa
of
Joe.
let's have a cup of Joe, right? So we call it Rescue Joe. Drink a cup, save a pup. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
I love you.
And we
I'm
could
going to check
donate.
that out now too. My
Well,
rescues
we,
just passed.
yeah, Rescue Joe. We never really got it launched. We do have a website
Okay,
though.
well, keep me
But
posted on that.
so take this. So now you take that concept, right?
Mhm.
And this applies to everybody, right? You go into your ChatGTP or your Grok. You say, hey, I want to launch a coffee brand, and I want to donate some money to rescue dogs. And we came up with this name, Rescue Joe. Drink a cup, save a pup. But I have no idea who my avatar is. I have no idea what age my avatar is. I have no idea what the demographics of my avatar is. Can you please tell me who the ideal avatar is somebody who's a coffee fanatic, but also loves
Dogs.
rescue dogs? And you put that in chat, boom, and like 2 seconds later, you got your exact avatar, ages 54 to blah, blah, the age group, the males, the genders, what part of the country do they live in? What magazines do they read? What TV stations do they watch? Right? Can you give me the psychographics and this? It just tells you instantly, and they go, okay, cool. So let me ask you another question. Now that we know my avatar, and we know what that person is that's going to be buying my stuff, what's the proper color palette and style guide? What font should I use? What color should I use? What should I make the website look like to speak to that avatar? Boom, there it comes. Right? Okay, now that I got my color palette and I got my style guide and I got my fonts, what kind of images should I use in my ads so I'm really attracting and I got that scroll stopping image? There it tells me what
Mhm.
to do. Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, now write me a prompt with what you just told me so I can go to and create an image for what you just described. And then it
Mhm.
writes the prompt and then it says, hey, do you want me to create that image for you? Yes, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you're just using it every facet of the way to figure out who your avatar is. And then now that you know who your avatar is and you start using the AI tools like launchads.ai, now it's going to find your target audience. Then it comes back to the congruency of the ads and what you're saying in the ads and the landing page. Or, maybe you're going to do message ads. I'm a big proponent of doing message ads and ringing the cash register by messaging people and chatting with people, like humans chatting with people. And of course,
Mhm.
with our Launch CRM, we have an app for your phone. You can have a whole sales team and you can round robin leads to them and they can chat from their phone. Because once you can get into a conversation with a prospect, you're much
Mhm.
more likely to close them. And especially with this concept there, if I run an ad and they opt in, and then I call them within 1 minute, the percentage of closing a sale is like 60 to 70%. If I wait 5 minutes, it drops like 30%. If I wait an hour or a day, it drops like 10%. That's how important it is to get a hold of these leads and be on them right away. So the idea with Messenger, and you're doing a Messenger ad, and they get into a Messenger, and you're chatting with them right away, that's a really good way to do it. So there's all kinds of strategies and things to implement depending on the price point and what you're doing and what you're selling.
Incredible. So, I was doing some research and you've been called or often called the entrepreneur's best friend. And if I'm correct in my research, you are also the youngest investment banking owner, if I'm correct on that. Because of your decades of experiences helping entrepreneurs raise capital and market their business and drive revenue, what are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen entrepreneurs or business owners making when it comes to marketing and securing funding?
Okay, so that's two really good questions. I'm going to break that up into two things. So
Okay.
the first thing that entrepreneurs constantly do wrong is sequence,
Okay.
doing things out of place. Like sequence. What do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? And again, there's these concepts of, look, I'm gonna go see if people even buy this product before I build the packaging, spend money on trademarks, do all this kind of stuff, and spend 4 months on this, and then go to market, find out I don't even know if people are gonna buy it. So
Right.
even going back to that scenario I just said, I create my Rescue Joe, I create my packaging, I don't even have any coffee, I start running ads. and I try to see
Okay.
what my customer acquisition cost is, and I give refunds. And so I blow a couple $100 on ads and refunds, but oh, well, this is going to go good. I know I could start testing. So sequence is really, really big in where they go and what they do. Um, and then from that perspective, when it comes to raising capital, if they need to raise capital, the first thing is I want to talk you out of raising capital because it's raising capital and running a business are two full-time jobs. And it's really hard to raise capital in the professional investment world. So I was the youngest owner of an investment bank in the history of the United States when I bought the firm when I was 21 years old.
Mhm.
And I wanted to raise hundreds of millions of dollars for companies. And I understand this game really, really well. So the idea is you first, just like I said, who's the avatar for your product or service? You need to figure out what's the how do I say this? What's the investor avatar?
Mhm.
Like so if you have a company where you can provide 50% return on my money, you shouldn't be talking to angel investors because angel investors want, you know, 7 to 100 times return on their money. And venture capitalists want, 3 to 10 times return on their money, right? So you have to figure out what that return you can paint a picture for to an investor, and you have to figure out who the avatar is and spend your time going after that. But more important than that is what I call the language of money. And the language of money, um, I'll give you an example. Say, I always tell people, you can be a money repellent or you can be a money magnet based on the words that come out of your mouth,
Mm.
right? So I created this course called the 7 Steps to Raising Capital, and part of this is the language of money. And the language of money is like if I ask you, what's your cap table look like? And you look at me and go, what's a cap table? I'm out. Done. See ya. Conversation over,
Right.
right? What's your customer acquisition cost? I'm not sure I understand what that is. What's that? Done, gone, history, money repellent, run. You don't know where your customer acquisition cost is. What's the lifetime value of your customer? So there's these questions that real investors ask, and if you can't answer those questions, it's a money repellent, right?
Mhm.
And then the money magnet is the opposite of those things. You start with those, you lead with that. Well, my company is Launchcart. We're an e-commerce SaaS company taking market share from Shopify. Our customer acquisition cost is $120 a month. Our lifetime average value is about $350. We also have a whole ascension ladder that can take our customers up to a lifetime value of about $4,500. And you start talking in those numbers and talking about the things that real investors want to hear. And then if you're talking to an unsophisticated investor who has money, now they're impressed, right? If sophisticated investors go, okay, this guy's got some stuff going on. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. But then the unsophisticated high net worth investor who's got like 33 Jiffy Lubes and just rolling in cash, doesn't know what to do with his money, is going, man, this person's smart. I'm gonna give them money, right?
Mm.
So the language of money and figuring that out is really, really important.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of that. So, Greg, I'd love to switch gears a little bit, if it's okay with you, in
Sure.
really sharing like a little bit about inside of your journey. I know you've launched a lot of businesses. You've been highly successful over your career, and you're still growing. You're still, still with Launchcart, and with the new products that you're rolling out, which is very exciting. You've shared the challenge of drop shipping and working with, China years ago. What are some other challenges that you faced in your journey, and how did you overcome them?
Well, there's lots of them, and I still face them. So it's like a never ending thing, right? So I think one of the biggest things, if you want to create anything of significance or anything meaningful, it's all about the people you hire. It's your team.
Mm.
And so that's one of my biggest challenges and things that I have not done a good job at over the decades because I love people. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I used to put on my business card, I'm a AAGG. Like, what's AAGG? I'm just an all-around good guy. Just, oh. And so because of that, you walk in my office and you ask for a job, I'm hire you. So I'm slow to hire or fast to hire and slow to fire. And
Mm.
you need to be the opposite, right? You need to
Right.
be slow to hire and fast to fire. And so because really team is integral. And now these days with AI and personality profiles and personality testing, I think it's one of the biggest things that we can do as a CEO or a leader of your company is leverage these companies that have these tools to do the personality profiling because I could care less about a resume. I could care less about what school you went to and what you graduate from. I'm more concerned about your mindset. I'm more
Mhm.
concerned about your work ethics. I'm more concerned about your values, right? Integrity, honesty, faith, family, freedom. Like, what are those values? So you can be a fit culturally with who I am and with what I'm building. And when you start to put those things ahead of resumes and stuff like that, and then you start to kind of manage your hiring process with the right personalities and the right job. So, for instance, you don't want to put a personality type like me in an accounting job. I'm not a numbers cruncher. I'm not analytical from that. I'm good at it, but you want to put that analytical numbers crunching type personality. And I don't even know the names for them all, but everyone probably knows what I'm talking about, right? And so you
Mm,
put the right people in the right jobs, and
right.
that's part A. And then the other part B is communication skills. So I came across this mentor that he had bought like 700 different companies, and I go, how in the heck do you do that? And he basically uses this company that has this communication technology. Whenever he buys a company, they go in and they interview every single person with the personality profile. And through that personality profile, they have some other testing and they find out how their communication skills are. And again, I kind of correlate this to coaching. When I used to coach basketball for 20 years, um, some kids you got to yell at and really be firm. Other kids you got to like cuddle them. You got to be nice, and you got to like and other kids you have to like give them goals, and you have to motivate them. You have to give them rewards, and other kids don't care about the rewards. So that's the same thing in life, right? So
Mm,
when you learn how to communicate with people, like for me, people start coming in my office, start talking about, this and these real long-winded, answers, and this is going on, that's going to stop. Like, stop. What's the problem? What's your solution? Let's go. Like I'm just like I don't like small talk. I don't like I'm a ready, fire, aim guy, right? So
mm.
I look at that and go the communication skills. Then when you really fine tune the communication skills between your team and they go, oh, here's how Greg likes to here's how you communicate with Greg, and here's how you communicate with Mary, here's how you communicate with Jeff, and here's how you communicate with Heidi, right? And everyone understands, everyone, not just me as the CEO, but everyone in the organization understands how you deal with that, how you communicate. Oh my gosh, the results, the company culture, everything in that organization changes drastically. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's so important to know your people and really want to spend the time to learn about them. So I think it's fantastic that you take those steps now, and that's a big piece that you've learned over the years. Company culture, I've heard from many people, that many guests we've had on this podcast, that company culture is really, really critical and key. And it's going to be interesting to see how AI shifts that, the team internally. And like you said, really having your team spend an hour a day learning AI versus trying to figure out how to replace them, because you definitely need that culture, and the AI is not going to be able to replace that. And
Right,
that's going to
right,
really resonate on the outside of the success of your business.
right.
So, um,
Absolutely.
I have a question for you. What are your for moving forward for 2025? What are the big goals for Launchcart that you want to see happen this year?
Well, we're rolling out a new initiative to launch and scale brands.
Mhm.
And it's very unique. It's very different. It's one of the few things that's enabling us to buy customers profitably, to cold traffic. And it's called e-commerce sweepstakes.
Oh,
And the idea is um, you combine a giveaway with your products and services that you're selling and offering as a means to attract people to come to your website and click over to your website and motivate them to buy in. So I'll give you one example.
mhm.
Um, a guy came to me and he's got a new golf supplement. It's like a new golf supplement for like 45 to 70-year-old golfers that helps give them the stamina and the energy to play their 18 round, their 18 holes of golf. And he's like, how would you launch my brand? I said, okay, well, here's how I'd launch your brand. I'd get the website built. I'd wrap around some print on demand merch and some coffee mugs and some things around it so you have extra product and you have extra inventory. And I said I would come up with the sweepstakes and I would come up with a prize that golfers would crawl through a hot bed of coals. They'd walk on glass. They would walk across a highway with cars 55 miles an hour to go through to get to this prize. And you know what that prize is? It's tickets to the Masters golf tournament, which I got my Masters right there, old Jack
Yeah.
Nicklaus sitting there at the Masters, right? So golfers that are golf fanatics, which is my ideal customer, golf fanatics, people playing a lot of golf, is my ideal avatar, my ideal customer. They want tickets to the Masters, the hardest ticket in the world to get to a sporting event. I happen to have contacts to get tickets to it.
Mm,
So imagine if you start running ads, hey, introducing our new supplement for golfers. Check it out and enter to win tickets, flight, Airbnb to Augusta, Georgia, tickets to the Masters. You're going to get clicks. You're
yeah.
going to get clicks. And then you have a nice landing page that talks about, hey, we're launching our new brand, and everybody who buys today is going to be entered to win this thing. And in 30 days, we're going to give away this prize. And the more you buy, the more entries you get. So the more money you spend, the more entries you get. So you take that concept and you use it, and it's really kind of remarkable. I'll tell you one other one. So I just had I had an investor of mine. So we're allowing investors to invest in Launchcart right now, and he's one of my investors, and he just bought an Alaskan fishing safari like destination, like all inclusive. You pay 11,000 bucks, and you go up there and you go fishing with all these fishing tour guides in Alaska. And so I said, well, you want to sell out and build a massive list. We run ads giving away enter to win a ticket for two of you. We're going to fly you to Alaska. We're going to give you all inclusive. You get to go fishing, you get to catch the big salmon, the big trout, big this, big that, and you give away the trip because the trip doesn't cost you anything really. Maybe a little bit of your food and a few $1,000s or whatever. So let's say it costs you 22,000, like 11,000 per person, and
Mm,
you put that a big marketing spin behind that. You're going to build a big list of your ideal customers. You're going to give away to one person. There are two people. So it's
mm,
a great strategy to launch and scale brands, and no matter what you're doing. And even if it was a smaller thing, hey, I'm going to give away a bag of coffee, right? Because maybe you can't afford to give away. I'm doing a giveaway starting in a week and a half. I'm giving away a Tesla, a $40,000
wow.
Tesla and 10,000 in cash. So we'll build a massive list with it, and then I'll be able to monetize that list for months and months and months, probably years to come.
So how do we find out about that? That give,
Launch,
yeah.
launchsweepstakes.com.
Amazing. Launchsweepstakes.com. So Greg, another question for you. If I could give you a magic wand and there was one challenge or issue that you're seeing right now inside your business, what would that be if you could go poof to take it away and why?
Hmm. It would be to help me hire the right people, just like not have to go through this laborious hiring process to hire a new team. So, one is obviously capital to scale, which is why we're allowing investors to invest. So
Mhm.
capital to scale, but then once you have the capital, now you have to hire a team. And
Right.
again, that is to be so cool if you could just wave that wand and go, boop, here's the perfect personal assistant. Boop, here's the perfect social media marketer. Boop, here's the perfect, media buyer. Here's the perfect, and it's not that quite that easy. So,
Mm. Well, if we could revisit this conversation in a year, again, this is a new podcast, so thank you for being a yes. If we could bring you back in a year and have this conversation, what would success look like for you and Launchcart in 12 months?
well, we're going to take our company valuation to at least a couple hundred million from where we're at right now at 30 million. So like at least a 7 to 10x valuation increase. I want to raise, using the sweepstakes model, I want to raise $10 million for charities.
Mm,
So we can use the same model for cancer research or for dog rescue or for, anything, right? There's this
mm,
one company that's doing out of Arizona, and they had a 7-year-old child that's going blind and they don't know why. And so they're doing e-commerce sweepstakes and raising money to do clinical trials to try to find a cure for this weird blindness. So I
mm,
just like that, damn, what a great way, what a great thing. Let's do that. Let's use
mm,
this tool to raise money. And my wife is a recent cancer survivor, so I'm like, yeah, let's use this to do some cool stuff as opposed to just making money. So that would be successful for me. And then I think the other thing would be to find to hire my um, I'm not going to retire. I'm not going to go away, but I don't need to be in here running the day to day like I am. So a year from now, I should have somebody replace me and should have somebody sitting in this role of CEO, and I'll just be the guy doing deals in the background.
incredible. So, Greg, for our listeners, how do they connect with you and reach out to you?
I'm a hard guy to get a hold of by design.
Okay.
So because I'm pretty busy. And going back to your question, a third answer to your question about entrepreneurs and the mistakes they make is
Hmm.
focus. right?
Mm-hmm.
Focus. So the idea that you're setting goals, the idea that you're setting a business plan, the idea that you figure out what you want to do, you reverse engineer it. You say, here's what, like, where do you want to be in a year from now? I want to be 90 days from now. Reverse engineer back into it, write it down, and then execute and stay focused. So for me, that's something that I do very, very well. But you can check out my website, gregreiter.com, and then, of course, launchcart.com. And then I'm easy to find. I've been very visible online for 20, 30 years. So you Google Greg Reiter with, my last name spelled like an author.
Yeah.
So I tell people, typewriter, author, and I'm pretty easy to find, and I'm out there.
Yeah, it's Greg Reiter, and his last name is WRITER.com. And also go definitely just Launchcart. And I'm really intrigued with, we already use Launchcart. So I'm really intrigued with your AI thing, your platform that I want to learn more about. So we'll definitely have all of Greg's links in the show notes. So you can always go grab take a look at the show notes for this podcast episode and connect with him through that. Greg, is there anything that I didn't get to touch on or ask you that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
No, I think that was a great interview, and I hope that I shared some wisdom and some knowledge that can help motivate, inspire, and give people a little bit of a roadmap to get that next bit of success under their belt.
You absolutely did. You've given us so many gold nuggets. So I'm super grateful for all the information and value you shared, as well as your time today. So I know it's early where you are. So thank you very much. Thank you all for listening to Greg and I today. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can hear from all of our amazing guests and the value that they share, just like Greg did today with all of us. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or anywhere else, and you can leave a review, please do so. It helps us share Greg and the value that he shared today with more people by you helping us by sharing, by putting a review. If you have any questions for Greg, drop them in the comments or comment and let him know, connect with him and let him know that you heard him here. If you are looking to grow your visibility, you're feeling like you're doing the things that you need to be doing, but it's just not happening for you the way you want it to happen, then please go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. It's free. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint. Thank you again, Greg, for your time. This has been amazing today.
Well, thank you. And I always end by saying this: do what I do, wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude, find somebody, tell them you love them, and I promise you have a better day.
I love that. And AAGG, all around good guy, all around great guy.
Yeah,
Thank you again, Greg. Thank you for listening to us on the Business Growth
thank you.
Spotlight podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.